The leaves of the tree are for healing. Shalom. When I came back from my vacation, I felt led to do that video about idolatry and relationships, and I didn't know why, but it was very timely, and it was very clear to me what idolatry is. So, I guess I sort of brought this upon myself, and it's not a negative thing. I know that some people can look at what I've gone through where I say, I felt sad and upset over the past couple of weeks at various times, and they could say that was a bad thing, but it's not. It's a very good thing. And I kind of wanted to explain that again. I mean, I've got my video about idolatry in relationships and marriage, and it's not just marriage, it's about how we interact with each other. And people on social media do it. I mean, people, they post stuff specifically trying to get likes. They might spend a lot of time posing in certain positions, etc., just to try to get the perfect picture because they want to get likes on their picture. And I think that's it's a natural thing. That's what we all do. It's not, I don't think it was the way we were meant to be, though. We're supposed to be caring about what our Father thinks about us, our Heavenly Father, and not about what other people think about us. And that's what I'm saying is, posting stuff on Facebook to get likes, to feel, if that's where your sense of comfort comes from, that's idolatry. If your sense of comfort comes from the Father and knowing you did the right thing or whatever, then that's different. But there's a lot of people out there who are looking for other people to like them, to understand them. I've been dealing a lot over the past few weeks, feeling like people did not understand me, or they were not on the same wavelength as me. They were not, I don't know. I guess understanding is probably the best word. And it's very lonely to come to the conclusion that nobody is going to understand you, ever. And I've had a dream which was close to a nightmare, and I haven't had any of those since my deliverance, basically. Since I was going through that. But it was very much affecting me. I had a dream where I was IMing somebody and somebody else was texting at the same time as if they were me. And everything I wrote came out as like gobbledygook. And so I came away with this impression that the dream basically was just my frustration at understanding there's certain people out there who, when I speak, they don't hear, and they have their own version of me that's not true. And that's really, it's the same thing for everybody. I mean, different people have different amounts of understanding. Some people have different levels of understanding where they can understand me very clearly when I speak. What I talk about on my videos, some people, they really get what I'm saying. And some people, they don't. But there's absolutely no person in this entire world who is going to understand me 100%. And I had to come to the realization that that is just an impossible standard. We cannot look for somebody to understand us 100% of the time. It's not going to happen. Nobody is going to be on the exact same wavelength on everything and understanding you completely. They have their own perspectives filtered through their own past experiences. And a lot of the times people line up with people that are very similar thinking, and you feel like you guys are on the exact same page, and then something else will hit and you guys aren't on the same page on that. And it is okay to disagree with other people. That's not what I'm talking about. Because in disagreement, at least you understand what the other person is saying, and you understand that you're not agreeing with that. But I'm talking about people who think they understand you, but they don't. So there's never going to be, this is the whole point. There's never going to be somebody 100% of the time going to agree with you and understand you. Agree is like be on the same page as you and understand what you're trying to say. They don't have to agree with it, but nobody's going to 100% actually see the real you, because they all have their own filters. And so looking for understanding and, being on the same wavelength with somebody else, it's not possible. We can be on very, very, very similar wavelengths, but we're never going to actually understand the other person 100%. Everybody has their own filters. I have my own filters where I see people through the lens of my beliefs. And in the past, it was very Christian. And now I have this law of attraction understanding. And our beliefs are changing all the time, too. We can come into very close proximity with people and understand things from their wavelength, because we'll be attracted to people that have very similar understandings of the world. But it's never going to be 100%. The only one who will be on the same wavelength as understanding, seeing things through your perspective, is your source or inner being or the creator, however you want to call it. And that is why that's the only relationship that matters, as far as if you are on the same wavelength, if you are on the same page as something. And that's why when you feel bad, it is, like I said, a vibrational dissonance between you and the creator and what you think about that particular thing that you're thinking about. So if you think, I'm really great at designing this or that, then you're on the same page because it's a positive emotion. But if you're thinking I'm really bad at talking in public or something, then that's like not the way the inner being or the creator sees you. And there's never going to be a lack. The creator knows you have abundance. The creator knows that everything is possible for you, filled with hope, joy, and excitement. When we are filled with anger, fear, and resentments and worry, that is all just a sign that we're not seeing things the same way that our source or creator or inner being is seeing things. So we have to be on the same page as the creator. And that's why I had the photo up here. It says you're not here for the relationship with others. You're here for the relationship with source. And from that relationship with source, all kinds of meaningful other things will happen. And so if you can feel loved and appreciated and comforted by the creator inside, then you will receive love and comfort from the creation, the world, people. They will come into your life. And so when I say that we are never going to be 100% understood by other people, that doesn't mean that you just give up on all people and you never talk to people again. But it's just that we can't rely on other people for our comfort, because at some point they might die, or maybe they'll change their perspective and so they don't see things the same way that we see them. We have to rely on our spirit inside. And when we find that alignment with the spirit inside, then everything else will fall into line into our world with other people. So it's not that you're going to be without other relationships with other people, but if you have a really good relationship with the source, then other relationships can come. I'm just saying we can't rely on other people for that comfort, because that's putting our faith on the sand. It's building your foundation, on the sand instead of the rock. If you say my husband is my rock, that's where I get comfort from. And I say that's idolatry, and you say that's wrong, that it's okay to have your husband as your rock. Then, what if he dies? What if something happens? Then what happens is that you are gone. You've sort of lost where your comfort is. Your comfort has disappeared. If you say my comfort is in my relationship with my best friend, and then my best friend thinks differently on something, and now that's gone, that was not a rock. It was built, your comfort was built on sand. Our comfort has to be built on the rock, which is the Creator, because it's the only one. He's the only one who's ever going to be there 100% of the time and never fall away, because he's eternal. So that's why we can't find comfort in anybody else but the Creator, because it's idolatry and it's just going to fall apart. All the idols will fall apart. Eventually, all idols will fall apart until we finally realize that we have to rely on the Creator for our solid ground. And so that's what I've been dealing with for the past couple of weeks. And like I said, somebody could call that quote unquote bad, but it's really, really good, because once you find your solid foundation, then you can stand and start to build the kingdom upon it. And everything built on the rock is going to stand. We have to have that solid foundation first, though. And I think this whole time period has been about, not just now, but the past few years has been about the Father just sort of getting rid of all of I prayed to no longer be deceived. He's getting rid of every single thing that was rocky or like sandy foundation stuff. And everything that could fall is falling, so that I can build a new foundation on something that's not going to fall apart. And finding comfort in the Father, being okay with having no friends, is actually a good thing. Now, that doesn't mean that you're never going to have friends, but you have to be okay with knowing that nobody else is going to understand you 100% of the time. Looking for that is just going to always lead to disappointment, because it's just not there. And I guess that's basically my point. We need to stop looking at other people for that comfort, and really just go within and find the Father for that comfort. And I know that this whole situation is actually, every single time you go through something that's negative, it's bringing forth the opposite, because every single time you feel bad, you're praying for the opposite. So if I felt lonely, I was praying for not feeling lonely, basically, companionship, friendship, etc., where people do understand me and all that sort of stuff. But what it does is the Father just rips away everything out of your life so that you can get to the root of it, and then you can build your foundation on that, and then he restores things 10 times. That's everything in the Bible has gone that way, Like I had my religious beliefs, they really weren't serving me. And then I prayed to no longer be deceived, and he ripped all that stuff out. And then, I found out I couldn't trust this or that in the Bible, but then now everything is built on the rock, and I have such understanding and clarity, and it's fantastic. So it's not a bad thing to let the Father rip everything out that was built on sand, so that you can build a solid foundation and on the rock. And so people could look at these situations as negative, but they're actually very positive. And eventually we'll get there. Every single time that there's something I don't like, it means I'm putting forth something I do like in prayer, and he's already answered it. And all I have to do now is get happy and align with the belief that it's coming. And I know the way the law of attraction works, and I know in my own experience how it works, and I know how to get back there with all the meditation and everything. And I went for a walk with a meditation today, and I will probably do that again in the future because that worked out well. And there's so many different ways that we can get out and appreciate things. Sometimes it's listening to music. Like, I have my gospel music. I listen to other kinds of music too, but if you're really in a funk, listening to gospel music can help a lot. So there's a playlist to that on my channel too. And yeah, we can find ways to find happiness and soothe our thoughts. And I mean, there's rampages from Abraham Hicks that help me, but some people aren't into that stuff. But like I said, the music would help then if you're just more like the Christian background. There's ways that we can feel better and pull ourselves out. And sometimes there's a lot of momentum that makes it take a few days or take a few weeks to do it. But like I said, if you keep meditating every single day, eventually it will really get easier and easier and easier. And I guess I just wanted to do this video to let you know what's going on. And I am happy that these things are going on, even if it sucked in the moment. And also, I just, I do practice what I preach. And so I know what it's like to go through these things where stuff really sucks for a while. And I'm not immune to it. But I also know that everything is working out. And as long as we sort of go with the flow, we'll start to see how it's for our benefit. Like I said, I pray to know what the Father is thinking about this situation, about these people that I'm interacting with. And it's so much more helpful to see things from his perspective and to just understand that he really does have the higher perspective. So when things are going quote unquote bad, we just have to know that's not really bad because everything's really working out for us. And it's making us stronger people. And that's really awesome. And the sooner we line up with it, the better, as far as I'm concerned. We don't want to stay in our funks, but there's ways to get out of it. That's why I have meditation tracks on my channel now, and I have that playlist of music, like I mentioned. And I've explained my thought processes, so sometimes people can listen to my videos and just feel better because they know somebody else is going through it and that they got through it and that we can get through it. And there is nothing that we go through that we can't get through, and that our Father knows we're ready for it. We just have to relax and understand that he's in control and taking care of it. So I hope this helped, and thanks for listening. Shalom. Believe